Well, today we are finishing up our director interviews with Steve Scott, who is brand new to our region and 7 months director of Toontown Show Chorus. Hi, Steve.
Hello, hello.
So, where are you from
I
originally?
actually grew up in a town called St. George. It's about 2.5-ish hours from Las Vegas. And I grew up, yeah, but I haven't been there in a long time. I've been longer outside of that area than I have been inside it. So
Okay, so and what is your musical background?
I started singing barbershop when I was 11, and I sang barbershop all through middle school and high school. And I thought this is definitely what I want to be involved in my life. So I went and got an undergraduate degree in choral music, and I then got a master's degree in choral conducting and a master's degree in vocal pedagogy and a singing health specialization from the Ohio State University. And then I taught at a college in Georgia for a number of years before going to the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas, and doing doctoral work on a PhD in vocal pedagogy, which I think I'm slated to finish next year. So
Well, congratulations early, because that is not an easy
maybe
task.
we'll
Yeah.
see if I'm still standing in a year.
So, how are you? I know you said you've been singing barbershop. So, how were you introduced to barbershop?
My dad was a civic chorale singer, and he was in this community choir, and they were singing German and French and Italian and stuff. And he thought it was fine, and then he saw. Well, his friend invited him to go see a barbershop show. He's like, "No, I'm not going to go see no barbershop show." And he's like, "No, no, no, you got to come and see. You got to come see these guys." He's like, "Fine, I'll go." And he went and watched, and these guys were memorized, and they were energized, and they were engaged. They probably weren't very good, but my dad said, "That looks like fun." And he joined, I think, singing barbershop in like 85, 86, something like that. And quickly got into a quartet. And I remember as a youngster watching my dad's barbershop quartet, thinking, that is the coolest thing. And it, at various times in my life, I thought that that wasn't that cool, but still did it. And now I think, again, it's the coolest thing. So,
Well,
yeah,
it
so
is.
I got into it because my dad got into it. My older brother joined the chorus a year after I joined the chorus. My younger brother joined. So we've been barbershopping for a while as a
So,
family.
do you ever try to find a fourth part and sing quartet?
Yeah, so my dad, my older brother, and my younger brother, we at various times, whenever we get together, we form the Great Scott Quartet, and we've sing for my mom and our family, and we've been on a couple of their chapter shows. So,
Oh, that's very, very cool. So, have you directed some barbershop choruses other than Toontown?
yep, I directed a chorus in Georgia and one in Missouri, and and now this one. And I think I was an assistant director at some point of that chorus that I grew up in, but I mean, as the main director, just these three.
And so, I know you haven't been directing Toontown very long, but is there a difference between directing men and women, just out of curiosity?
No, the actual gesture is the same for barbershop choruses, regardless of the composition. The and I don't know if this is something that's endemic to town itself, but they are a different bunch of folk, and I delight in them. Yeah, they're different than the men's choruses that I've directed in the past, and I can't tell if that's because of gender or organization or just this plucky group of singers. So
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. So, do you have some goals for yourself as the director of Toontown?
yeah, like I said, I have experience in choral music, and I obviously have a large experience with barbershop, and so I am interested in honing my own personal craft so I can be a better and a more effective director and communicator with the chorus. And I want to empower the chorus to achieve their goals with competition and with community engagement and performing. And yeah, I don't want to be, I don't want to get in their way. They're a driven group of women, and I they're inspiring, and so I want to make sure that I am a facilitator of that journey.
That's awesome. Um, do you have a favorite musical memory from any either barbershop or non-barbershop?
Oh yes, many. There was. I've had some lovely experiences. I performed with the Ohio State choirs in Switzerland. That was lovely. I was able to do a sort of small recital in Brazil a couple of years ago. I've it's certainly thrilling to sing with the Music City Chorus that I'm a member of here in Nashville. I also sang in the Central Standard Chorus in the Kansas City area. There's been some pretty amazing experiences there. I sang to my wife after I proposed to her. That was a pretty memorable experience. So yeah, I've had some really lovely
I
memories.
won't ask what you sang to her unless you want to volunteer that information.
I'm actually happy to share that. It was "If You Were the Only Girl in the World," and I along with a little
Oh,
boy,
oh, how
and
sweet.
she agreed with the sentiment.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, do you have any hobbies other than music? Sounds like that keeps you busy.
Sure, yeah, I like to cook. I've been about a year and a half or so, kind of really like diving into some some cooking, and that's been a lot of fun. I like to read. Before I got a little back injury, I was into running for a while. I like to travel. I enjoy languages, literature. Um, I, I got great kids.
I was just going to ask you about your family life. You have a wife and
Two kids. Yep,
two
two
kids.
kids. A 12-year-old and a 3-year-old. The 12-year-old is unsure about her feelings for barbershop right now, other than she thinks it's for old people. She'll learn that that is true, but also there's room for others.
That's true.
uh,
That's true.
yeah. So yeah. So being a dad's one of my
You'll have
favorite
to
things. So
drag her to some of your rehearsals.
I finally was able to convince my wife to come to rehearsals, and so she'll be competing at regional next week. Her first time ever doing barbershop will be next week. So
Oh, that
excited
is
for her.
great. That is great. Okay, and then I've asked every director if there's a quote that speaks to you or something that you live by.
I know this sounds a little I know it sounds a little dumb, but there's a movie from the '80s called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
Yeah.
and uh, there's a guy who was the helper of the two protagonists. His name was Rufus. His the motto that they spoke about frequently in the movie was "Be excellent to each other," and I think that our world would be a better place if we were just a little bit more excellent to each other.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's great.
The
Well,
other half of the quote is "and party on," but I just kind of focus on that
well,
first
we could do that too.
half.
Oh, shoot. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person next week. And
It'll
I
be fun.
wish you and Toontown all the best. And thanks for entertaining this interview.
You bet. No problem. I'm happy to have done it. Thanks for making the time.
Sure.